And a good gaming morning to you, whether you're tossing dice, flipping pages, stroking that brush, or mashing on those buttons. We got your six on all things gaming. My name is Loki, Michael Smith, and right in front of me,
Eddie, the focus, Jake's in the house.
The mastermind behind every one of our podcasts, to be completely honest with you. So how are you guys on this Saturday, and how are you on this Saturday?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little sad that New England's not going to the playoffs, but nothing beats depression like throwing yourself into your work, and there'll be intense campaign planning the whole time we're not on the field.
And which, by the way, if you guys aren't following us on Twitter, why not? Number one, at Portugal Viking right here. At
Eddie Jakes.
Eddie Jakes. Very easy to remember.
Right. If you look on the bottom here, you're going to see
there you go. Yeah, there it is right here.
You know where to find us.
Right there.
And if you can't find us on Twitter, you can find us on the website, www.basementquest.com.
Bingo.
You can send us emails, messages. We read everything. You can join in the forums. It's a good time.
Well, last night he not only honored me with a very nice tweet, but he also gave me great information as well. He tweeted that the question was, who is the greatest DM you've ever had? And he actually called out me. But also, at the same time, he put a nice little meme on our Basement Quest Instagram, and it ended up showing our favorite guy, Jeff Goldblum, from Jurassic Park's big smiles on the back of that Jeep, and it says, when your DM is finally going to let you GM so he cannot be the DM. And on the bottom it says, the crazy son of a bitch did it.
Actually did it. Yeah. Because you've been hankering for some like real dice chucking for a while.
And we talked about this a couple episodes ago, or actually last episode, how, I've been the DM for so long, and even these guys, it's not like they prefer me, but they're so used to my style, and it's just the way that it works out. But when I get to, and then there's a lot of DMs out there that are like me, GMs out there like me, that finally when you get somebody that has a good storytelling process like he does, you get excited.
And here's the thing, I'm not planning just the one campaign, the Dead Rain campaign. There's been some interest expressed in the fantasy game, so I already started scribbling something.
And we still, both of us are still interested in this Delta Green. And listeners, if you're familiar with that system, please contact us anyway. Leave a comment, contact us, direct message in our Twitter. Even that way, that's probably one of the easiest ways to get hold of us. And if you want to be a part of that discussion too, you can call us. We would love to. We still want Pathfinder. Calls. We still want Pathfinder people that play Pathfinder. I would love to have a conversation with you on the show. I've never really played it.
I've been playing the game lately, Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's the top-down RPG.
Oh, okay.
And I am loving it. It's really good. It's very easy to play. The combat's pretty smooth on it. So I'm interested in hearing some actual tabletop players.
I would definitely love to hear a little bit on that. But like I said, this is not just about us talking about stuff. It's about you guys joining in with your ideas. And if you would like to be a part of it, absolutely contact us. We always love to take on this new information, especially, like I said, this Delta Green system sounded really cool.
The more I read about it, the more I watch, the more I want to try it. Because we were running up Beyond the Supernatural game.
And it was, wow, it's just so involved,
right. And played him just kind of slow on the books, so I put that on hold.
And
but this Delta Green really looks like it can fill that gap,
that void,
that supernatural conspiracy type thing that we love. So it should be fun. We're gonna definly try that out.
Definitely.
And, if any of you have any experience, any of the Arkham games, really, Arkham Asylum, not Arkham Asylum.
No,
those games.
Those games, the company itself.
Yeah,
yes.
the Call of Cthulhu and stuff like that.
And actually, a lot of people said that too. That's where it all started, was the Call of Cthulhu, and people really dig that. Like, so
that's got a really loyal fan base.
It does.
People
it does.
Love those.
It's
games.
like the Rocky Horror family fan base. They're just super loyal. Like, don't say anything negative, they're going to punch you in the mouth. So what we're going to bring you to this show today is we got a news topic that Eddie found that we're pretty excited about, and we're super excited about this new segment that we're going to add to the show that we've came up with. It's called Heroic Holodeck Main Event. And the main idea here is it's pretty much like any of the superpower battles you may have seen, online, where people dress up like their favorite whatever superheroes, however it be.
Yeah, think Marvel versus Capcom.
But we're going to expand that even further. So we can literally take, like, say, Khan from the Star Trek universe and put him up against Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars. Just some crazy shit. Now, here's the kicker about this. We are devising a system almost set up like Warhammer. It's going to be a hero versus hero. We're going to roll a dice. We're literally going to do 5 battles. Maybe two. We'll see. We'll see how 5 works. If it gives me a good amount, each time, maybe we'll increase it. Maybe we'll decrease it. Whatever. The rules are going to be, like I said, very close to a Warhammer. Very simple D6 system. I think we're going to make it. We'll have the rules available on our website. So if you want to actually take advantage of this as well, you can use it as well. We will be doing character creation. So obviously, Superman. If we have Superman out there against, say, Goku. We want to have a Goku miniature. We want to have a Superman miniature. So I will be painting those miniatures, and we will have a tutorial as I'm doing it. They'll be on Instagram. They'll be on YouTube, and blah, blah, blah. The last thing, which I'm super excited about, is every single battle is going to have its own specific piece of terrain that myself and my amigos will be building and painting and also putting on our network and all of our websites, as it were. Then you can also, if you want, recreate this iconic temple, whatever it may be. It's going to be something cool that symbolizes whatever battle is going on. We'll tell you what the battle is. I think we're going to probably do it like every 2 months. So you're going to get 6 heroic holodeck main event battles a year. And with that comes the painting of the miniatures, the terrain that's going to be the specific for that battle, and the rule set on how to do this. It's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be super exciting. We're going to take pictures of it, videos. We'll even have people be guest rollers for their favorite characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you got a character you want to see, say, Zorro versus Drizzt.
Good one, dude. That's actually a really good one.
So you would have, you'd come out, to the best, we'd come up with the stats for Zorro and the stats for Drizzt, which are kind of the stats for Drizzt are available. So we would,
we just kind of, like I said, we'll converge it over to the system, whether it be pluses or minuses, and added it.
And you'd see who's the better swordsman in that regard.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and like I said, we'll be tweaking the system. This is an idea that's continually going to be going on, and who knows, we might change the dice system, or it might even not even be a D6 by the time we get there. We're going to sit down and actually put this thing together in the next couple of weeks, and I'm hoping by April we should have our first one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the month of April we will have our very first heroic holodeck main event battle, and if you guys have ideas, throw them at us. Hit that comment right now and throw whatever battles you can think of. We'll take them, dude. And it's anything. Any universe you can think of, you throw it at us. If it's a Forgotten Realms character, if it's a Rifts character, if it's a Warhammer 40K character, fantasy character, anything that you can think of, we are going to detail it, put it into this battle, and it's going to be epic. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. So what news did you find for us?
All right. Well, there's a couple things actually in the Dungeons and Dragons news. They have this a mystery book coming out apparently. There's not a lot being said about it. At first, they said they were going to drop it January 9th, which we're way past. It's January 11th as we record this. Mm-hmm. Now it's saying it's going to be announced January 13th.
So 2 days from now.
Yeah, a couple other products have also been announced. So it's looking like it's going to be Forgotten Realms centric. Through the point
which we've always said is their main.
That's their go-to now. That's the main. All the novels written in that realm right now.
Yes.
They don't really. Ravenloft is just kind of on the side now.
Which kind of sucks.
Dark Sun's kind of. Actually, they haven't really tapped.
They haven't touched Dark Sun. I was going to say since the '90s, dude. I haven't heard nothing.
Not even
from
Greyhawk. They don't really do anything with Greyhawk, even though that was the motherland for lack of a better term.
It was.
And so
the fucking Bretonians.
Yeah, looking forward to what they come out. Like we always grab the books.
Yeah,
because if anything, there's always like equipment and character class and stuff.
New classes, that's usually the big thing. Or new powers, new abilities, feats.
Right.
That's a big thing,
Also in comic book news, more specifically the MCU, apparently Marvel has reacquired the rights to the Incredible Hulk.
That's actually pretty good news.
So, yeah, one of the biggest reasons there hasn't been a standalone Hulk movie since the Edward Norton one is because Marvel can't do it.
Right.
Because the rights still belong to Universal, and Universal can only make solo movies, but they were allowed to make Avenger movies with the Hulk character. It's why that Marvel hasn't done a Hulk movie. So, apparently they reacquired the rights. I don't know if Universal had the rights to She-Hulk and stuff.
Did you? By the way,
So-
have you seen the pictures lately
Some,
that
yeah.
they've thrown up there for the She-Hulk?
Yeah.
You know who they're saying should be the next She-Hulk? Is the chick from The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Who is also in Deadpool too.
I
Angel, I think her. I don't know her. I know her, not her real name, but she's
former MMA fighter.
Yes.
And she's a pretty good actress.
She's fantastic. I think
doing
she would
really good.
fill that role like perfectly, dude. They had her doing like the, pointing to her muscle, and they had a picture of She-Hulk doing the same thing. And I'll tell you what, I was like, yeah, that's perfect.
Gina Carano is her name.
Yes.
Like I said, former MMA. She was kick-ass in the first Deadpool. I thought she was great.
I thought she was perfect, dude.
I could see her being She-Hulk.
I thought she was great in Mandalorian, too. She actually showed a different side. Because, in Deadpool, she was just the straight-up, I'm going to punch you in your mouth and spit my gum at you,
The one thing I like about The Mandalorian is I think they take some cues from Kevin Smith.
Yes.
And you see these out-of-work Imperial people. So I get a kick out of that.
That scene with the fucking with the biker scouts, and he's like
he's like right on the thing and he keeps missing,
and then the other guy fucking looks at him like, you fucking idiot, grabs a gun and misses himself and shakes it. No, it's perfect.
Bill Burr summed it up best when he's like, he used to be a sharpshooter for the Empire, and the Mandalorian's like, I hope not. And he's like, I wasn't a damn stormtrooper, you ass. I was like, great. But yeah, no, Gina Carano, I think would be a good Hulk. The only thing is whether or not they plan to just CGI out the She-Hulk, because obviously the Hulk is very CGI now.
Yes,
Lou Ferrigno is the last man
green
to
Hulk.
ever be the Hulk.
Right.
He will be the last human to ever play the Hulk, if you think about it.
Absolutely.
So even though I guess they do have the actor in a suit and then they CGI around him.
But even the suit is just kind of...
Yeah. Well, even like...
It's bare bones, you know what I'm saying? It's got the chest, and then it's got this little stringy thing, and it's got fists at the end of it.
He's got a little thing where...
You got a big thing. Yeah, exactly. The head.
Seeing, what's his name there, Josh Brolin play Thanos behind the scenes.
Same way.
Kind of funny, and it's just like... I don't know how you could work under those, but no, I'm pretty excited for that. I think it'd be good if Marvel gets the Hulk back. I'd like to see them get all their properties back.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's owned by Disney now, so they got more money than God, so they can pretty much buy anything at this point,
Because honestly, towards the tail end of like X-Men, Fox was just kind of throwing things in a barrel. Good call,
dude. Good call. Last Stand was probably, in my opinion, the last really good X-Men movie, too.
I disagree. Logan was great, but...
Logan, but see, Logan, I kind of felt like it was a great movie.
It was more of a Western than a comic book movie.
It was a spaghetti Western,
I think that's what I liked about it. And
probably.
The movies that take the characters a little more seriously usually do the best.
Yeah.
I did like the time travel one. Days of Future Past.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of. Not End Days. Days of Future Past. That's the last one where they went back in time.
The third one, and it was terrible.
And it wasn't even a stand. It wasn't the last stand because they had Days of Future Past. That's why it made me think,
Plus the two bad origin movies.
Yeah, the one where the Sentinels were getting ready to come marching in on them, and Shadow Cat there was throwing them in the past.
Have you seen the Rogue Cut?
No.
So originally, it wasn't Kitty Pryde doing that thing with Logan. It was Rogue, and they completely cut her out of it to where she only has a cameo at the end of the movie. The Rogue cut puts those scenes back in, so it's Rogue doing the thing.
That kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, why they did it that way, I don't know. So Anna Paquin came back as Rogue, and the whole movie is different. So
I gotta see that.
Yeah,
that's
catch the Rogue Cut. It's a lot better.
I'll have to see that. Yeah,
but I think when Marvel started making movies, it put so much pressure on these other studios that they
have to step up.
Yeah, but they didn't, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing. They got you get. I think the same problem with DC, where you're just trying to keep up instead of focusing on making a great movie.
Instead of taking 6 months more to make a great movie, you're trying to push it out to be up against these guys.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no way you're going to win. So Marvel technically is competing against itself.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing and understanding that there's plenty to go around, guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we grew up with these characters. We're going to see the movies. Mm-hmm. Even if not in the theater, we're going to rent the tapes, dating myself. We're going to rent the videos.
We're going to go to Blockbuster, yo.
Oh, God, I missed that. But
I do miss Blockbuster.
I do miss the video stores.
God.
But, yeah, you got to focus on making a good movie, and I think that's where Justice League fell. is they're trying to pump out an Avengers.
And I really wanted to like that movie.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to be
I do
an
like
Avengers.
it. I know it's not good.
And Avengers...
It's one of those things where I like it, but I know it's not good.
And Avengers holds a special place in my heart. Because if you think
For a
about
lot
it,
of people.
this is also the last time that you see them all wearing their quote-unquote iconic costumes, too. You know, it was so important to have Captain America out there with the Stars and Stripes. Iron Man with his first Mark IV, you know, that setup. Yeah. Hulk just being the smasher. Even Black Widow was as close as she could be, and Hawkeye was like, it was a little weird, you know?
It took a while for them to really figure out what to do with Hawkeye, but I think by Endgame,
he was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he was great.
He was one of my favorite. Dude, emotionally, when they were like, you know, trying to break shit down in Thor, he was like, why don't you go fucking ask the guy floating around there? Why don't you go ask him?
I think
why don't you talk about that space magic? You know, he made us feel great to be a human, you know?
I think once they acknowledged his weakness in the movie where he's mumbling to himself like there's aliens everywhere and I have a bow and arrow.
Yes.
I'm like, okay,
none of this makes sense.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So once they became aware with the character, because he tries to quit like several times to the film because he knows he's a guy with a bow and arrow. This is getting too deep.
Yeah.
I have a family, and it's like, but he gets pulled back in
Every time
he gets out. They pull him back in.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, Marvel obviously just doing it right. DC was trying to, I won't say copy, but compete in a bad way. Like, I like competition, but you can't rush it. You need to take your time with it. You need to develop it. You need to develop those characters. Honestly, we should have had maybe, I'll say, 2 Superman movies before we had the Batman v Superman.
I agree.
And we probably should have had a standalone Batman movie with Affleck. If you're going to use Affleck,
you had to have him. You had to establish him as the character. Absolutely.
And then I think they should have possibly pumped out this Wonder Woman movie that's coming out. So a couple Wonder Woman movies. So you should have had 6 films before you started putting them together.
This journey towards.
And maybe have cameos, like maybe bring the Flash in for a Superman movie, maybe bring Aquaman in for a Batman movie or something, you know?
Right.
But I think before you actually had the Trinity, we'll call them the Trinity, because Batman v Superman is basically the Trinity.
Yes.
You know, before you had the Trinity in it, you should have, established those characters. And then I think Batman v Superman was kind of a dumb idea. I think The World's Finest would have been better.
Yes.
And I think they could still do that. If they really wanted to refresh the series,
they want to reboot it.
If you're going to have Pattinson, you got to keep Cavill. If you want to use Pattinson as Batman, you can retcon, just ignore what you did.
Yes.
And bring in The World's Finest. Bring in
I don't even mind Patterson, it's Patterson, right?
Pattinson.
Yeah. I don't mind him as Batman. He actually,
he's got the chin and
with
stuff.
the cowl on, he does kind of pull it off. So, and then Batman does have fucking blue eyes, and so he's pulling that shit off too. So it's
and
like
I think he'll look good as the rich.
He'll pull that off.
Yeah,
he's already got that the chiseled face. You know what I'm saying? And he's already got that snooty. Like even when he played in the vampire shit there, he just had that fucking snot thing about him,
But one thing I liked about Bale is he pulled, when they first started that series, he pulled off the entitled rich kid
very well. Very
so
well.
I think if Pattinson
he came out with that
pulls
schmug,
off,
he was like,
And I was like, I don't think people realize how important that is, because if he's trying to separate himself from Batman, that is the best way to do it.
You're right, dude.
There's no way this arrogant asshole
It's so
is
easy.
Batman.
Right, I said, just like I've said lately, what did I do with the NPC character? I gave him the voice of Batman just to make him,
Exactly.
It's so easy to make Batman. It's so hard to pull off Bruce Wayne, and you're absolutely right there. All right, so before we get into the meat and potatoes, I do have one more little bit of information that I was super proud of. And me being Disney Plus, you being Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And if you guys aren't Disney Plus, go to our website, because I think, don't we have affiliate links for that too?
No.
We need affiliate links for that because we blow them up a lot. But, especially with Mandalorian and anything. It is official. The Obi-Wan Kenobi has been signed, and Ewan McGregor will be playing Kenobi. My favorite Kenobi ever. You know why? Because the guy still to this day.
There's only been 2 of them.
Yeah, but still to this day, the guy still makes fucking lightsaber noises when he fucking, that's so funny, dude. They still have to edit him out. So anyways, They're trying to find.
Cut. We got to redo that. Stop making the
Stop
noises.
making the noises, McGregor. So they're looking for a young Luke, and a lot of people have been bringing up Sebastian Stan, who is the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And if you guys have ever seen this picture, if you look up right now, look up Sebastian Stan, Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. The only thing that they did in this picture was take Luke's iconic hair from Tatooine and put it on his head. And you guys as well, do your homework and go ahead and look this up right now.
Okay.
Is that not creepy?
I'm a believer. My only objection is I think Sebastian Stan is older than Mark Hamill was when he took the role.
I agree. I agree. But, I mean, he also looks very young.
And I mean, I'll have to see how they do it. I can see it as being problematic because one of the things with Luke is he's done nothing up until R2-D2 and C-3PO show up. So if he's going to
But the whole time, Ben is supposed to be watching him.
And the first time he sees a lightsaber, he's looking at it like, woo.
Yeah, what is this? Yeah.
So if they're like going to have this show where he's going on these adventures with Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's just not.
It's not going to work.
Fit.
Yeah, it's not going to work. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I know Obi-Wan stayed on Tatooine to watch Luke.
But
so
let's not also forget, there's a lot of stuff that went on during the Clone Wars. Or during Rebels there. Obi-Wan lost his fucking love. Darth Maul came back and killed her.
I still haven't watcched that show.
Oh, you got to do that.
I got to watch it. It's on
fantastic.
Disney Plus.
It's fantastic.
All
right. So today's show is we are both, like, he's more of a Trekkie than I am. And back in the day, way back in the day in the Project days, 90s, we used to bust each other's ass all the time because I would watch Star Wars and know my knowledge about Star Wars was incredible. And his knowledge about
Star Trek's pretty
fantastic. Yeah. And as well as, I mean, he knows the serial numbers for about 50 of the fucking Federation ships out there. So I'd say it's pretty fucking good. But also his knowledge of the Star Wars universe is actually fantastic as well.
I've actually always made the argument that they're in the same universe. Star Trek just happens after.
I can buy that.
Because Star Wars is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and Star Trek starts in the 23rd century and 24th.
And plus, the ships are just so much more advanced, and the shit that they can do. You know, I mean, look at the Millennium Falcon thing; it's just like a garbage.
Warp drive is light speed; it's faster than light speed.
Yeah.
So, well, I think they say warp 2 is faster than light speed. I don't remember, but
but it was not as safe.
It's been a long time since I read Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise.
That was a cool ass book. So we both agree on one thing. This man, J.J. Abrams, has completely shattered every belief of every heart and soul of anybody that's ever had any love for any of these franchise stories. Star Wars in particular, especially the last three, it felt like, and anybody will say this, The Force Awakens, literally, if you played it step by step next to the Star Wars A New Hope,
they're very similar.
They're very similar. And it's actually almost up until the point where both the Death Star and the Planet Killer go down. It's right about the same time.
And because of that, I think when you first watch it, you come out thinking, wow, that's awesome. And then the second view, and you're like, I've seen this.
This looks oddly familiar to me. So then you come across the second one, The Last Jedi, which... It wasn't Abrams' fault because Abrams wasn't a part of this.
Well, he's a producer.
But he was, exactly. But he was still had his hands in the cookie jar. He could have said yes and no. And then we go on to this new one that just comes out. And it felt like all he wanted to do was take a finger to every one of these fucking ideas that was against the first one.
It totally, it's like he undoes the second one. I still haven't seen it, so we're not going to do spoilers.
I am not doing spoilers. I haven't seen it myself, but unfortunately, Twitter can be a very mean place.
Yeah.
And I just so happen to find every spoiler out there. And I got to say, yes, it does seem that he is doing exactly that. He's counteracting everything that happened in The Last Jedi. Now, we've brought up before, The Last Jedi is kind of
it's awful.
It's even more than awful, though, because it literally counteracts everything that the Star Wars universe...
It undoes all the heroism of Empire in Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So it totally undoes the Luke Skywalker character. So he leaves Return of the Jedi a Jedi, a noble
Right.
Jedi. You know, he's with his friends. He's redeemed his father.
And absolutely.
You know, and all this good stuff he's done is completely undone by that movie. So by that movie, he's like a crazed, paranoid old man who almost kills a kid.
Yeah. Yes.
Deliberately kills a kid.
Yes. Well, about to kill a kid.
And which is totally contrary to anything Obi-Wan would have taught him, anything Yoda would have taught him. Because
anything he believed in himself.
Obi-Wan could have killed Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
He cut his freaking limbs off. He could have walked down there and said, I'm ending this. Poked him, dead. But
yeah.
The Jedi won't do that because they won't kill anyone who's unarmed.
Right. That's the whole reason why
matter
they take.
what.
That's the whole reason why they take the hands off. And if you guys go back and you watch the actual, the Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin takes off both of Count Dooku's hands, at that point you do see when he's got the sword at Dooku's throat, he says, "I shouldn't do this. He's unarmed." He acknowledges that he should not do this. Taught. Right, exactly.
So
this
clearly Kenobi is teaching his students this.
Exactly. This is embedded into their teachings, and then he still does it. That, in my opinion, that was it. That was and my son still to this day does it. Do it. I was like, do the dishes. Do it. I was like, shut up. You just go fucking do your damn dishes.
Well, Ian McDiarmid is the perfect villain.
He really is.
He really is.
He fucking,
even if you don't like the prequels, I still think he's wonderful in them. The laughing, the cackling.
You know, the more I watch the prequels, I understand where Lucas was going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Was there some things that was just wacky and stupid? Yes, absolutely. Was there some things that he could have, went more on? Yeah, but I think that was the point. Those were his babies. Those were his, you know what I'm saying? The 4, 5, and 6 were the first ones. But he really wanted to make these ones first. But he knew he didn't have the technology to do it. You know what I'm saying? So when he comes out with these prequels, and he is like, look what I did. It's legendary. And then we're all like,
now that
it's okay, Lucas.
Honestly,
we broke his heart.
The Phantom Menace is terrible.
No, it is. It is. But they gave us 2.
The Clone Wars was decent. I don't have a problem with Clone Wars that much. I like Revenge of the Sith.
Right. Revenge of the Sith was a perfect ending to the whole story as far as those first 3.
The biggest problem is, so you had the first 3 movies, and the past of these characters is only really hinted at.
Yes.
And so your mind runs wild with, I wonder how it went down. I wonder what happened. So the reality versus what you've already built in your brain over the years is never going to meet expectation.
In Attack of the Clones, when he goes back to find his mother dead, and he destroys an entire Sand People village, that I think a lot of people miss. That was his...
Because, honestly, it's overshadowed by Hayden Christensen's really bad acting.
It is. No,
I hate him. Slaughter them like animals.
No, but you can't... You got to leave that alone, and you got to look into the story.
It's hard because he's trying to tap. Now, since we're talking Star Trek too, he's trying to tap into his inner Shatner. I killed them all. I slaughtered them like animals. The women, the children. Come on!
But it also opens up a very crucial point. What did he also kill? The women and...
Killed all women and children.
And the children.
Yeah,
what did he do in the Jedi fucking temple? He was more than happy to go down there and destroy those kids as well. Anakin at this point is gone. He's gone. And Obi, and this, in my opinion, this is the Jedi Council's fault because they had them separated all over the place. They put Anakin in charge of Padme, and then Obi had to still go out, running out and finding all his fucking shit and his mystery that had to be solved.
Well, that's the genius of the Emperor.
Yeah.
He knew divide and conquer.
That's exactly it.
He created that whole, people miss that, created that whole Clone War to divide and conquer.
Yes.
You're never going to stop all the Jedi together in one location.
And by the end of Revenge of the Sith, Order 66,
it
was perfect. That's what I'm saying. The hatred that the prequels get is unjustified. It really is unjustified.
Some of it, yeah.
Is Phantom Menace a bad movie? Yes, it is a bad movie. But it opens up the next 2, and the next 2 is what really creates the Star Wars universe. You know what I'm saying? You realize when New Hope opens up, when you see that little ship running away from this big, gigantic ship, you realize there's a lot more behind that ship right now than you ever thought there was.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you get done with Revenge of the Sith and you get to go to New Hope and you see that scene, it is just incredible, dude. It's incredible. It makes so much more sense.
And Rogue One, like
I love how they filled that in.
Rogue One was great.
It was. I have no hatred for Rogue One. When I first watched it, I was like, eh. But then I watched it again, and I put it into the Star Wars universe where it needs to be.
Yeah. I watched from the rip. I loved it. I thought it was a great.
Oh, it was great. Great acting, great storytelling.
I was concerned, like, am I going to enjoy a Star Wars film without lightsabers? I won't lie. But they give you what you want by the end, so there's a payoff. Like
yes,
Darth Vader shows up, and it's the best Darth Vader's
ever
been.
Oh my God, is it?
Honestly,
I mean, if for movie wise, if you guys have ever played any of the video games, then no. I'll tell you what, 'cause Darth Vader is a nasty motherfucker in these games, dude.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens 1 and 2. Oh my God.
I think
when you got to be Darth Vader in the first one, when you're going through the Wookiee village, and you can just chuck freaking Wookiees all over the forest.
Oh yeah, I played the Force Unleashed, and that's I love the parts where you play Darth
He's
Vader.
iconic. He's iconic.
I think too, like with the original movies, and I think technology plays a part of it. They don't really tap into just how powerful Darth Vader is.
Right.
You know, he just kind of talks spooky and chokes people, and then like Rogue One, it's like, hey, we can do a lot more. What would this man do unchained? And he just walks through this hallway holding someone up in the air while he's like doing this, and then I'm like, wow, this is how I pictured.
This is Darth Vader. Yeah, this is the reason why he's the most feared Jedi in the galaxy, because of that.
Up to that point, they played him up as being the most powerful. And I mean, if you want to bring out the midichlorians, he's got the most midichlorians.
He does,
more than Yoda.
I mean, he's technically the Jesus Christ of the world, if you really want to break it down like that. He was.
But in the end, it turns out Luke was.
Yeah. Exactly. Luke was the actual
until the Last Jedi. In which case,
which we just brought up. Exactly. They just spit everything that we just brought you to. He just spit on.
You know what? Here's the thing, and this is the first time I ever experienced this. And I love movies. We love science fiction. I love horror movies. So one movie that I love more than anything is the first two Alien films.
Oh God, yes.
So I love Alien
and Aliens.
I love Aliens.
Was such a different beast.
It was a great progression from Alien. And
it went to show you that how no matter as nasty as that one fucker could be,
if I get 100 of them,
if you had got infested, and they did so good, they still kept the spookiness,
the tension,
and the tension of the first one, and they just
threw that motion tracker when you
dude, my favorite part
when you just hear that click and there's no music, and you're like,
dude, yes, absolutely.
And then you hear them say like it's like 5 feet away, and you're like, no way, that's inside the room. It's like, and you're like, oh shit. So love it. Alien 3 comes out. And the first thing they do is they kill off Michael Bihn's character. They kill off the little girl.
Yes.
So all of the heroism of Aliens is completely wiped out.
Right.
So it's like, and I don't care. I still love watching Aliens. All right, I consider Alien 3 to be a bad dream. Alien 4, that bad dream's child. So.
Yeah, they should never have been made.
Yeah, so like, don't even get me started on Alien vs. Predator.
That should be an apology.
Yeah, we could do a whole show on those.
Yeah,
because we've read the comics. We know there's some great things they could have pulled from, and they chose not.
So many good.
Instead, they pulled from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So anyway, moving on. So, The Last Jedi takes everything great about Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars film.
Yes,
I know Empire is the better film. I know it is, but in my heart of hearts, I just love Return of the Jedi.
Why was Empire a better film? Because their backs were up against the wall. You didn't know what was going to happen. You lost Han Solo at the end of the movie. You lost Luke. Luke doesn't even know what the fuck is going on right now. You just found out that Darth Vader really is Luke Skywalker's father. Well, you think. Lando Calrissian just completely fucked you over, but at the same time, save-faced in the same fucking movie. You have all this stuff going on, and not to mention the fucking AT-ATs in the beginning of that fucking movie. I don't give a rat's ass who you were. When you were a fucking kid and you were watching that film and those AT-ATs first go and you hear that, you're just like, ah. It was incredible. It was incredible.
So I know Empire, and honestly, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, best performance
They
ever.
were fantastic. You're right.
When the two of them are like trying to, well, she's just denying how much she feels
at the
for
very
Han
end.
Solo, and then finally she says it, and he goes, "I know."
You're like, you pompous ass. That's Han
like,
Solo.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it's clearly the better film. I don't know why I love Return of the Jedi more. A lot of it has to do with the Luke Vader confrontation.
I love that. Luke has his new lightsaber.
I think Ewoks get a lot of flack. I think it was cool to have such a low-tech army versus such a high-tech army.
So that's the other thing a lot of people realize. Like, Luke made a new lightsaber. That other one that fell through whatever, what's her name, found it from the fucking...
Don't get me started on that either.
I know. I still want to know this story. I really do. Because, and it's funny, if you guys ever... If you guys at home ever play Battlefront...
I forget her name.
Yeah,
little creature.
that's what I'm saying. Mower or
and
whatever.
she's like, oh, I just found it. I'm like, was there a fucking hand
Yeah,
attached?
there better been a fucking hand attached to it, you fucking psycho. But if you guys have ever played Battlefront 2, and you sit there and you literally think about this. If you pick Luke Skywalker, Rey, and Anakin Skywalker, they all have the same fucking lightsaber. The only difference is if you pick and it's a special costume. If you get the Luke Skywalker Jedi costume, he pulls out the green lightsaber,
which is my favorite lightsaber.
I do. I love the green. I love the green. When Qui-Gon, when he first was like, he was at a green one, I was like, yes!
This is another part of Return of the Jedi that I love, when the Empire's looking at his new lightsaber, and he just says, much like your father's. I'm like,
yes.
Ooh. Like, I'm like, that's your... This is the turning point. You're either going to go here or there.
Right.
So everything has been culminating to this point where it's like you have your dad's lightsaber, he's dressed in black. Nobody really points it out.
I love that too.
I love that suit actually.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Luke Skywalker outfit, dude.
When I play the Old Republic, my Jedi costume is similar to that.
That's like I said, when I use Luke Skywalker on Battlefront 2, I use the Jedi costume. It's the baddest fucking outfit. They tried to recreate it in The Last Jedi, and by the way, fuck you, by the way, because you did a terrible fucking job. He just looked like a young Chuck Norris sitting out there getting ready to do katas.
Yes.
That's what he fucking looked like to me, okay?
Drinking green milk.
Yes.
drink alien milk.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So,
and that part where he's like, "Whoa, what do you think I was gonna do? Like, come away with you and take on the First Order with a laser sword?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of what we expect.
Luke Skywalker would have done." Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, you kind of did that.
You were a fucking paladin at one time, you fucking asshole. So that's what JJ did to the Star Wars universe. So let us flip this script around and show you what JJ has done to the Star Trek universe, shall we?
All right. First of all, I do not like any of those movies. I put it out there.
I put up the first one. I do. I like what they did with it, and I liked. I did buy Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, by the way, and Spock.
That was my caveat.
And Spock, the guy who plays Spock.
I forget his name all of a sudden.
But yeah, he was on Heroes. He played.
Yeah, I love that actor.
He's great. He's great.
Actually, the Audi commercials he did with Leonard Nimoy are awesome.
They are pretty funny.
They're pretty funny.
They are pretty funny.
But actually, I got to look up his name. We should give him his credit where it's due, because he's a really good.
No, he is. I think it's like Quentin, or it starts with
Quinto, Zachary Quinto.
Thank you. I knew.
He also had a part in that American Horror Story show.
Yes,
which I haven't.
He just looks like that weirdo. You know what I'm saying? He could totally pull that shit off.
I actually also saw him in it was a mini series that was done called the Slap, which was a remake of an Australian show about a cookout. And the kids are acting up, and he just walks up and slaps the kid.
Oh!
And the whole thing is about
that's him
and the family. Yeah, he did a really good job in that.
That's awesome, dude.
Playing this bitter, angry car dealer or whatever. But no, great actor. Here's the thing. That's my caveat with those Star Trek films. I have no problem with the cast whatsoever. I like Chris Pine, great choice. I like Quinto, great choice. even Simon Pegg, even though I think they try to make the character dumb.
Yeah.
Which Scotty is not dumb. He's a genius. He's
right.
an engineering genius.
He is.
Uhura, I love the actress who plays her. Zoe.
You know me, I love Carl Urban. I thought he was a great choice as Bones.
As soon as I heard him talk, I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the cast. I have a problem with the material.
Yeah. It's very weak.
Very
weak. The first one was super fucking weak. It was like Force Awakens. It was like he took the idea from the first one, putting them all together with a little bit of I want to say Next Generation flair. You know what I'm saying? Like he kind of felt like he pulled from the number 2, because you know what I'm saying, like Spock and Captain Kirk have always had like a relationship.
They're best friends.
Exactly.
So I didn't like the whole competition.
Thank you. That felt forced to me.
Because I used to read the novels way back in the day, and there's a novel based on their first voyage, and it was kind of like Spock was so used to serving with Captain Pike, and Pike was retiring, Kirk was taking over the Enterprise, and he was going to transfer off the Enterprise. He didn't hate Kirk, but he didn't think that
he was a good enough captain. He thought he was too off the handle.
Yeah, he wasn't sure it was going to work. And by the end of the book, he withdraws his transfer request because he thinks he realizes like they might actually
work out,
achieve something, and it could be a great 5-year mission.
And it was more than that.
Yeah. And so my big problem with the first Star Trek film, one, I don't like the humor in it. The humor is kind of dumb,
stupid. It feels MCU forced.
I don't mean to go fanboy or total geek, but there's certain facts that I know as we talk that were totally contrary to what happened. For example, where the Enterprise was built. The Enterprise was not built in Kirk's home state of Iowa.
Right.
It was built in San Francisco, so that bothered me. In the San Francisco shipyards, it's a thing. Look it up. And
he knows.
I know. The size of the ship is wrong. According to J.J. Abrams, that Enterprise is bigger than the Enterprise D, which is the biggest one if you compare them from the original series. Right. That's not true. It's supposed to be smaller. It has a crew of 450. And they're like, oh, it's got a crew of 1,100, and it's this long. And I'm like, timeline didn't change that much.
Yeah, right.
Because I understand they're gonna.
And I remember that book you had because it literally had all the Enterprises next to each other. That was a really cool fucking book.
Yeah, and so that's me nitpicking. But I could like, all right, I can forgive a few things.
Yeah, but we can do that like we just do with Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? And this is, if you're a fanboy, it's a certain thing. It's just like the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Like certain little things you're like, but you buy into it because you want the franchise to work on the film. Yes. It's for us, and this is what I want people to realize. For us, we want nothing better to sit back and watch a great film of our characters come to life on the big screen. When they did Lord of the Rings and they did it justice.
Yes, I love those movies.
I was like, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, you could have fucked this so bad. So many people could have fucked this.
Many have tried, and they've done it
the only way, right, exactly. And the animated was the only one that could actually pull it off at the time. And even then, it was short. It was very gritty.
Well, the last one was incomplete. Like, you didn't get to even finish it.
No.
It stops at the end of the 2 towers.
Yeah, like the freaking Eagles are just picking them up or whatever, and you don't even see anything past that.
He ran out of money. Ralph Bakshi did the Lord of the Rings. He didn't even get to finish it.
Yeah.
It ends right before the 3rd book starts.
They were supposed to have Frank Frazetta do that too, but they couldn't come to terms for him to be one of the artists.
The Tolkien family is very protective of that property. I don't blame them. It's huge.
Yeah.
They can name their own price. So, but I like what they do with the movies.
You're right. I love the
movies. 6-hour versions are
and that's my point. Like, we want these things to work. When we hear that these great directors are going to take it over, as fanboys, we want nothing more.
I remember I was going nuts for a while because The Passage was a TV show.
Yeah.
And I liked it. It ended up getting canceled, but it's my favorite book series right now.
I mean, what was the other one that I loved way back in the Sliders? When that one got fucking canceled, that broke my heart, man.
Oh, on Fox?
Yeah, that was
at least that show got a run. At least
yeah,
it got like a good 5-year run. I think.
Was it 5? I thought it was like 4, and they just kind of like shat it out the window. And I was like, what? That was doing so good, man. And I like John Rhys Davies, which, by the way, plays Gimli. Of all fucking people in the Lord of the Rings. You know how tall John Rhys Davies is?
If John Rhys Davies didn't get to be in Lord of the Rings, it's not Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
He's right, dude.
Ooh, I'm right. It was like
5 years? Wow. Damn, good shit, man.
We're dating ourselves, folks. 1995 to 2000.
Wow. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. That was one of those. They took that away from me too really fast, and I was like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that to me?
But back to Star Trek before we get too far off topic here. This is my problem with the three films as a whole.
And I forget that they have three.
Well, that last one, I don't.
What was that chick, by the way? Wasn't she like some
alien.
alien? Like you know what she reminded me of? To be honest with you, was freaking Zamora. Not Zamora. Damn it. From Gamora. Thank you, Gamora.
Gamora.
She reminded me of Gamora from freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, she's running around.
Isn't she Uhura?
What?
No.
Oh no. She's Zoe. Oh, you're right.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, you're right. I know she's Gamora.
Yeah.
And she's Uhura too. Yeah, you're right.
Well, no, Zoe Saldana is Gamora.
Right.
So the other alien person reminds you of Gamora.
Yeah. Yes.
Who was that? Let me look that up real quick. But
she's probably Valkyrie from fucking the MCU.
Yeah, probably. But what?
Yeah, I always forget there's three because I remember the Khan one, which was, oh my god, they destroyed the Khan character. Which, if you guys ever watched the original ones, Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 2.
The original episode was Space Seed and Ricardo Montalban as Khan, and
he was in that, and
yeah,
he
that's where they pulled it.
Yeah,
that's where they pulled it from, and he's. I'm sorry, it was. I'm not saying you couldn't use Khan again. It was too soon, though.
I don't like what they did with him.
I don't like what they did with him at all.
I think it went against everything that Khan was.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they made him this fucking malicious general, and he wasn't like that. He was for his people, yes, absolutely. But for his people, like he wanted nothing more than just for his people to fucking survive. And this guy,
he was diabolically evil, though.
No, absolutely.
The thing I had an issue with is, first of all, the character is he's of Indian descent. His full name is Khan Noonien Singh. Benedict Cumberbatch does not look Indian at all. Ricardo Montalban can kind of pull it off. And
I think the reason why you get Benedict Cumberbatch is because he's uprising at this point. He just had, he's just coming out with the whole Doctor Strange movie. So you get it because of the face. You know what I'm saying?
So, that alien is Sofia Boutella.
Never heard of her.
I'm trying to think and see if there's anything else she's been in. She was in Atomic Blonde.
Yeah. No.
Kingsman, The Secret Service. She hasn't been in too much that's been like wow yet.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like that very Gamora character. I'm going to stab you with a sword, kick you in the face, and grab your nuts and throw you around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, I don't know, you saw Star Trek Nemesis, I assume.
Yes.
The last Next Generation
movie.
Yes,
that was the one that they cloned Picard. And made an actual Romulan.
Clone Data, for lack of a better term.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they like spliced him or whatever they did.
It's not, because there's Data and there was lore. This isn't lore. It was another one.
That's right.
I'm like, and honestly, you could play that movie and Star Trek 2 together and they have the same beats. Like the movie is so
I'll have to check that
copy of Star Trek 2, it makes you sick. They fight in another nebula.
Yep.
They pull this thing where they distract the bad guy so that they can do.
The comic, the iconic fucking space fucking scene where they're going.
The whole movie is trying to be Wrath of Khan, because they're at this point they're running out of steam. I think.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart called it franchise fatigue, which happens after
He's
a
right.
while. A franchise gets worn out, and you need to take a break. So when they bring Khan back for the second Star Trek, I don't know if you want to call it a reboot or whatever. But
and that was Into Darkness?
Into Darkness.
Yep.
And you're just not even hiding the fact that you're doing it.
No.
And you even change some of the dialogue. So instead of Kirk screaming Khan, you have Spock screaming Khan. You have Kirk die. I'm like,
When I saw
that movie, I'm like, you think the audience is stupid.
You really do. No, you absolutely do.
Yeah.
And once again, this is our buddy J.J. Abrams with his ideas.
Who's a good action director. I won't take it from him.
Right,
There's great action in those movies. I won't take that away from him. But
he doesn't.
There's no philosophy.
Right. There's no homework, dude. There's no homework. He does zero homework, and he has zero respect for the followers and for the people that have worked, like you said, so hard to make such a good story.
I think up until actually getting to do the Star Wars movies, he wanted to do a Star Wars movie.
Oh, he did. He said that.
It's like, oh, well, you can't have Star Wars because George Lucas owns it, but here you can have Star Trek. Okay, I'll take Star Trek and make it Star Wars. Even change the phasers. They're like doing little blasts.
Yes.
The weapons on the ship are like, I'm like, what the hell? And it's like this one act. It's basically some dialogue, an action set piece, and some dialogue, and there's nothing making me. I like the characters, obviously, just because I have a history with them.
Right. And they did a good job, like you said, picking them. Yes.
I love the actors, but they're not even trying to make you care for these new actors playing these iconic characters that everybody knows.
No.
And you'll have Leonard Nimoy pop in just to keep those older folks there, which I was fine with. I love Leonard Nimoy, obviously. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not doing anything new, in my opinion. And another thing I'm getting tired of after watching actually the Next Generation movies plus these new movies, I'm just kind of getting burned down on is there's the crew, there's the ship, there's a bad guy, crew versus bad guy. Okay? You don't need to do that.
Right.
There's proof. You know what that proof is? Star Trek 4. No villain.
Good call.
No
Good
villain. There's something they got to overcome. You got to have an obstacle.
Yes.
But there's no bad guy. It's them going back in time to get whales to talk to this thing so it won't destroy the Earth. So there is a MacGuffin, there is a goal, but there's no like, it'll stop Kirk.
Right.
There's one guy that Kirk pissed off like 30 years ago come back out of nowhere or some Klingon or whatever. None of that's in Star Trek 4.
Because it was storytelling. That was actually good storytelling.
Still, I think even adjusted to inflation, that movie's still the highest grossing one of the entire franchise. Seriously.
That's
Star
actually...
Trek 4 is the highest grossing one. And so you don't need that. And if you watch the Star Trek show, you had the serious ones, you had the action ones.
But then silly ones.
You had these silly ones like with
Trouble with Tribbles.
Now, I'm not saying you got to do a 2-hour movie with Tribbles or something like that, but you can be
you need a break. You need a break.
You can sit, just once. I just like one of these writers to sit there at the typewriter and be like, there's something we can do. Let's not have a bad guy. Let's have a movie because Star Trek 4 focuses on the crew more,
right?
And they're in these. Then there's some humor. Obviously, they're in the 20th century. They don't know things. They're like, oh, what about like having McCoy complain about the medical technology of the time is great.
Yeah,
that's classic McCoy.
Yeah,
like, oh my God, this is the Dark Ages. Like that's classic McCoy, and that's taking the best about that character everybody loves and building it, and everybody laughs, and it's just like, oh God, that's exactly what Bones would say. That's great. And that's why that movie's so good. Some people hate it. They go, oh, the one with the fucking whales. But it's
you obviously didn't watch it
really well. It's entertaining. Obviously the Enterprise is destroyed at that point, which I thought was a dumb move. I think I would have liked the Enterprise in that movie, but they get a new one at the end of it, which was kind of cheap. But it's like, okay, so you destroyed the ship just to give it back to him. I think that's dumb.
Lesson learned.
It's like, oh, we got a bunch of Enterprises here. Here's your new one.
Here you go.
And it started that tradition of the dash A, B, C, D thing,
right?
Which any naval officer will tell you they don't do that.
No, no, they just rename it. They just get a whole new fucking ship.
That's a thing. And here's the thing too: if you have a director that's directed the Fast and the Furious, you should not be directing a Star Trek movie. I'm sorry.
Or at least get some practice elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not knocking Justin Lin. I think he did a great job with Tokyo Drift, and then I think he's done pretty good with that franchise, Fast and the Furious. That's his strength. Okay, I mean, I don't think he was a good fit for Star Trek. Mostly because I don't think Star Trek is supposed to be this crazy action piece.
No. No, you have action scenes.
Yeah, there can be some actions,
right?
With the ships, and
but it's
stuff
a lot of it. I really kind of feel like, whereas Star Wars is the blasters in your face, the lightsabers, these epic,
Well, Star Wars, it's in the title. Star Wars,
right? Exactly. So you're
it's
used
not
to
Star
saying
Picnic,
right? So that is all set. Star Trek is
a journey,
right? And sometimes you come into conflict,
right?
And you want to take care of that conflict as fast as possible. So the fighting is completely different, and I love how you bring up that aspect, because when you're used to just being an action director, when you're used to just being this one thing, it's almost like when you're used to only doing a horror environment as a DM or as a GM, and you try to bring in this new element as far as just doing Greyhawk, and there's werewolves and zombies and all this shit still going on. You never adapted, you never evolved. And you're right, he never evolves, and he never even tries to evolve that story at all.
Exactly, because obviously if you're playing in the horror setting, you got to understand that you are going into, we'll say, the Lord of the Rings type stuff. So you need more magic, you need more magical creatures, you need more, less horror, more fantasy.
Right.
Not to say you can't have some horror elements.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
like you said, have that occasional
Dungeons
episode.
And Dragons, you going into dungeons.
Yeah.
But you got to understand that if you have like Ravenloft players and you say, hey guys, I'm going to run a straight fantasy game next week, and they're like, all right, yeah, fantasy. And then you run a Forgotten Realms with zombies, and they're like, okay, I feel like we're playing Ravenloft, except now I can be a dick and not get punished for it.
Right, exactly. I'm not getting a freaking half ogre forming on my fucking forehead here. This is great.
Yeah, so you got to choose the right people for the right job. I don't think Justin Lin was right for the job. Nick Meyer, who did Star Trek 2, is credited with recharging the whole franchise, because after the motion picture, everyone was kind of like, well, it wasn't bad, but that was kind of 2.5 hours of not much.
It was
2.5 hours
of everything we already knew.
You can go too far with what I'm saying too. Like if you're just doing a movie that's one glory shot of the Enterprise after another,
I like that.
I can't take credit for that. That's Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith said the Star Trek motion picture is not a bad movie, just kind of boring. It's like they talk and there's another glory shot of the new Enterprise, because it was new back then.
And it was beautiful.
And it still is. It's still my favorite ship. Yeah, I got the toy upstairs.
It was. And the angles they got on that thing were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you should look up stuff on that model. The way that model, every light is there for a purpose, because they wanted to be realistic about space, because obviously if you're in deep space, there's no sun.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how would you see this ship in deep space? And it's like, the ship lights itself up.
Right.
So that's why if you watch the motion picture, it's almost darker, but the lights hit the ship in certain spots where it's like, well, that's what a spaceship would look like.
That's a really cool.
And then the
but
movies afterwards,
they actually think about that stuff.
The movies afterwards, they slash the budgets by a lot, and so the ship doesn't really light itself up anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of more there. That's been my only complaint with the films afterwards. But I kind of get the audience. I don't think the audience would buy that after a while,
right?
Because with Star Wars, they like that in your face. That you got the Star Destroyer coming at you, and stuff.
I mean, going right back to Revenge of the Sith, the very first opening scene, you got the two Jedi, fighters going next to each other, and then they zip on down, and boom, you're in this huge epic space battle. You know what I'm saying? It's
that. Rewinding, another reason why I love Return of the Jedi so much is that end space battle was
very
so
well done for the time.
At that time, that was probably the most, what's the word I'm looking for?
I had the most going on. You've never seen that many TIE fighters out there at once, that many different styles of ships. The Y-wings, the A-wings.
Squadrons.
The squads were out there. Yeah,
all done with miniature. Ambitious is the word I'm looking for. Most ambitious, special effects ever.
Yeah, deep space fight. I would have to agree with that.
And I was like, you watch Return of the Jedi. I got to see it in the theater when I was a kid.
I did too.
And you're watching it and just like,
and it does. It blows your mind.
Wow.
It blows your fucking mind.
Then you watch the New Hope, then watch Return of the Jedi. New Hope, that fight scene is cool. But it's mostly
but there's
them
nowhere
down
as many
down
ships.
And that was cool at the time. Then Return of the Jedi, it's like they're not doing the trench thing. They're just like, it's full on assault. And it's like
just watching Millennium Falcon spin through all the different. It's absolutely.
Honestly, if you can, I know probably got a lot of younger people that probably didn't get to experience that, but get the biggest TV you can. You know, put on some headphones, turn the lights off, just watch that scene.
Yeah.
Put out of your mind everything you've seen,
Yes.
like MCU and stuff, and just watch that movie with the mindset that this was done in 1983
with miniatures.
with miniatures. There's no CGI.
There is no CGI.
Obviously, the special edition probably has some now, but
I think they added more ships. To be honest with you, I think they added more flagships.
If you can score an original print, watch that and just think that's
good
what
call.
he did.
Good
that's
call.
what they did.
That was his dream.
1983.
That's what they did to pull off that shit. You know, they had to build a goddamn X-wing out of tubes of toothpaste and all this other crazy shit. You know, like watch some of the things, and like you said, it was ambitious. Today they don't even need to do that. They just need to hire some guy that can make a fucking ship on the computer.
Actually, they're usually hiring Industrial Light and Magic, which is George Lucas's company. Well, he sold it, but it's the special effects
I
company.
told you, man. People pissed him off so much that he was just like, "Fuck y'all, I'm just done with you guys."
Well,
Fuck you.
I'm sure the $1 billion.
Oh, that helps him too. That helps him too.
Yeah.
But I would have to, in the wrap up here, if you guys, I mean, if we've said anything to, you know, hit a spark or anything, go ahead and comment below. But also, we'd like to hear your thoughts on it. What is J.J. Abrams good for the franchise? And if you think he is, absolutely, give us a reason why. Why you think going forward, should he continue to have a piece of this? The Star Wars saga, I think, is pretty much closed at this point. I don't see them.
Kathleen Kennedy says the trilogy thing is done, which is
done.
stupid.
Right.
Because Star Wars and Indiana Jones are supposed to be serials.
Keep going.
That's how they were made. You know, they were like even before our time.
Like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
You just expect 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Well, when not even our parents, but when our parents' parents were kids and they used to go to the movies and see these action serials and they were like 15 minutes long. It's like, oh, what is Flash Gordon going to do
Oh,
now?
yes.
That's what Star Wars and Indiana Jones is
Good call,
based on.
yes.
That's why they had the episode thing and everything. So it was like trying to bring back some of that vibe. If you're going to take that away from the franchise, you're kind of taking its heart away.
That's true.
You know,
with Disney Plus and with everything going on and all these little episodes,
I think that's what they want to do.
I think that's what they're trying to break down. I think they're trying to get it individual stories, and people can go in their individual ways and whatnot. You know,
Mandalorian's getting that right. The serial.
They are. I like it. And every episode, I love at the end when they show you the storyboards of how they're going to do it. Fantastic, man. It really is. Whoever got this right.
John Favreau
got it right. Oh yeah, that's right.
Guy
I mean,
who
just
got the
Iron Man.
MCU going with Kevin Feige there.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And Iron Man. I mean, he fucking.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, John Favreau, in my opinion, is Iron Man.
He's Happy Hogan.
He is, yes, but he is also Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? Like he brought that whole when somebody said Iron Man's coming to the movie theaters. Remember that question that we always said, okay, are you going to make Superman fly?
Do it?
Right.
Yeah.
That was a question.
My first thought is how
are they going to actually make Iron Man fly? That was my question. And is it going to look authentic? And when you fucking saw him don that first MK fucking 2 armor, and he was like, and it was like.
Honestly, the thing that hooked me was in the first trailer when they show the scene where he launches a bunch of missiles and he starts walking away slowly and just goes boom. I was just like, yeah, that's Tony Stark.
That's Stark.
That's Stark.
that's it.
I think we might be on to something here.
We got something brewing.
Yeah, and it worked. We were
but
right.
That's what I'm saying. And this guy, like I said, he obviously has a knack for it. He's got the feel for it, and that's what we need. We need more people who have the passion. And I think before you just sign a big name like J.J. Abrams, you need to look into his psyche. You need to ask questions. You need to find out where he plans on going with the series that you just handed to him. You know what I'm saying? And in both of them, I feel like he failed both franchises. That's my honest opinion. I don't think... It's almost like Michael Bay, you know, with the Transformer franchise. Remember when he first said, I'm not dogging the first Transformers movie because he did a great job.
I don't mind it. I like that.
And the second one's okay, too. It was all right.
It was the beginning of a downturn.
It was. And then after that, it was stupid. But his biggest thing when he first made those movies is a lot of people question the reason why they didn't look like the old school Transformers. And he said, because I can't make it happen. Fast forward 10 years.
To Bumblebee.
And it's a terrible movie. Don't get me wrong. Bumblebee is a horrible fucking movie. But you know what they did? They actually made them look like the Transformers that we knew and loved.
Yeah, and I was like, so you couldn't
do this? How couldn't you do this? You know why? Because you were lazy and you didn't want to do it. And that's
remember, he didn't want he didn't want Peter Cullen to come back.
Oh, I know.
And then everyone's like, if there's no Cullen,
you ain't got no Transformers.
We're not going. We're not going to the movies, bro.
There is no Transformers, buddy.
So, yeah.
I mean, he gave us fucking battle fucking chip for crying out loud,
Yeah, but definitely, Jon Favreau is definitely the father of the MCU.
I agree.
Not bad.
The Godfather, baby.
Not bad for a guy whose first movie was Swingers.
Right? You ain't fucking lying.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Make sure you guys are watching us on Anchor.fm. We're now on Spotify. As always, we're on YouTube, of course. He's going to be slapping
Google
that one out there.
Podcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, still trying to get on iTunes.
For some reason.
I don't know what the holdup is.
Yeah, me either. And I know my son just got a nice new iPhone, so he's been dying to.
But if you do use Apple Podcasts, you can get the RSS feed and just drop it in to your app that way, and you can listen that way.
That's pretty cool.
Hopefully you'll be able to leave reviews and stuff. If you want to support the show, go to anchor.fm. You can donate as little as 99 cents a month if you like the content. You want to get the content going.
Yeah, and that just helps us bring better content to you. We can start focusing more on, the aspects of this. And don't forget, you give us the ideas. We're more than happy to get some.
We'll talk about it. And if you can't donate, but if you shop at Amazon, you can go to our website. Or if you want some really good RPG PDFs and stuff, we are affiliated with DriveThruRPG. You can get your materials that way. I got all kinds of paper terrain and stuff. I can't wait to use.
Yeah.
Pretty excited. What else? We are affiliated with the Ultimate Gaming Table. So there's links on the webpage,
which we talked about extensively last week with our big group here. They seem pretty excited. We might actually throw in for some of that, but it's a great table. It's a great setup. It's perfectly designed to your needs and how you want it specifically designed. You can't beat that. I mean, it's fucking fantastic.
And at checkout, if you use the code BasementQuest50, you'll save $50.
$50.
That'll let them know that we sent you.
That's a case and a half of beer, a brand new bottle of whiskey that you can have right next to that beautiful table, a new set of dice, that new book that be coming out right now. Maybe even you pick up Delta Green and give us your thought on it. There you go. That's what you can do with all that money saved.
Yeah. So, and please take part in the forums. And
absolutely, we're there all the time. We love answering questions. We love the comments. Anything you want to talk about. What's your favorite character in D&D? What's your favorite class? What class did you miss? Maybe that hasn't been around forever. Maybe you just love video games. Tell us what your favorite video game is. Tell us why. What franchise has died? Where are they now? Would you like to see them again? Get active with us. We welcome the activity. We want the activity. We just don't want a thumbs down. If we're a thumbs down, give us the reason why we're a thumbs down. Give us, it just didn't feel like you gave a whole lot of information that. You know what I'm saying? We don't mind the negativity. We like the negativity because it gives you a better show. It makes us as hosts better, and we want to give better quality. But just to get a negative thumbs down with nothing behind it doesn't help us make it any better. And we welcome those comments. We do. Good and bad. Good and bad. Hey, like I said, you don't just have to feel like you got to click that thumbs up just because we're awesome and we're great looking. I mean, that's beyond that.
It helps.
Do it. It does.
We don't mind.
But do it because you really love this content and do it because you really want to support this show. That's the biggest aspect.
All right. Well, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Mike. Until next time, this is Basement Quest, taking care of all your gaming needs. We'll see you soon.